Welcome back to the How You Slice It podcast. Today, my guest is Glen from Gianni's Pizza in San Diego. We're doing the San Diego kick this month on the How You Slice It podcast. And Gianni has a great story. He's owned his store for almost 30 years. And we talk about how we went from New York to San Diego, what it's like to operate a pizzeria in San Diego and find help, and why he took his team to Italy twice. Not once, but twice. What a great boss. I need a boss like that. Take me to Italy. We talk about why he did that and the outcome from that and why he's built up such a great team and why he cares so much about making a really great pizza. Great episode with Glen. I hope you enjoy this one. The first part of this podcast, the video had a little issue. So once we get to the 18-minute mark, then you're going to see all of the video of Glen and myself. But in the beginning, it's just going to be a little bit of audio only. So thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Let's get into this one with Gianni's Pizza. Glen, thank you so much. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for doing this. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
This is great. So tell me a little bit about your pizzeria and yourself and like how you got started with all this.
Real quick, from New York, then moved to Chicago, took a trip to California and really loved it. Decided to pick up everything and just move. Went to California. 6 months later, opened up a pizza place. That's a quick snapshot, but that's basically how it happened. So I'm definitely Italian. I got a passion for pizza. And when I got here, I was like, if I want to open up a business, why not do it here instead of where the weather sucks? so definitely that's what I did, and been doing it for 31 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. So how long have you been in San Diego for? 31 years?
Yeah, 31 years, yeah.
Wow.
Actually, next month will be 32-year anniversary.
Well, congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
So your pizzeria has been open for 32 years?
Well, 32 in February, yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's really amazing because pizzerias are hard businesses to run, especially over the last, 10 or plus years. It's been extremely challenging and curveballs all over the place.
Yeah, I've been through the 2008 thing, the financial crisis. I've been through everything. Yeah. It hasn't been easy, but we're doing really well now. It's just one of those things, nature of the beast. You got to just keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your pizzeria.
Okay, so we're not, I said I'm from New York and then moved to Chicago, but we're not either one of those specifically because you got to have to change to your market.
Yeah.
So at first we were doing a lot of New York and Chicago things. And then, it was like, well, you got to dial it in. So over the years, we just kept dialing and dialing and dialing to, I would say, it's not either one of them, but it's a mix. So, for example, you can get a slice here, just like a New York slice, or you can get a vegan pizza that's gluten-free.
Okay.
So we have a wide variety of menu items, but it doesn't take away from the quality of something like the New York slice or something like just the basic pepperoni. So we're very eclectic. I've done independent movies. I used to be in bands.
Oh, really?
So we're like a super creative / we kind of take our creativity from the artsy side and put it into the food.
Nice.
But it also incorporates the passion of being Italian. And in 2019, I closed the shop for 2.5 weeks, took the whole crew to Italy.
Wow.
Yeah, we took cooking classes, we traveled, we learned about the culture. We did it again in 2022. But that showed me the passion that the Italians really have in their food making. So we sort of take that creative, different, movie making, band member thing into making pizzas and being super creative. So again, we have the super standard stuff, but then we have the weird stuff, meaning making our own, vegan ricotta. With a lot of people don't do making things from scratch. We source the best ingredients, and if we can't, we make them.
That's interesting. I can't believe you took your whole team to Italy twice. That's pretty amazing for the team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's life changing in so many ways because it's a vacation, but you're also the amount of stuff you can learn in 2 weeks. Especially if you mentioned you're at a pizza place and you mentioned you own a pizza place. I was immediately in the kitchen of several pizzerias. I mean, we have photos on the wall of that. But it's like they're welcoming when they see that you have the passion. And if there's the biggest thing that would define Gianni, it's just the passion in what we do.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's also the reason we've been here for so long. Without that, you're not gonna last. You have to have it, and you have to keep evolving with the times, which is what we've done.
Yeah. Do
But
you
the Italy trip was a big game changer. I mean, we use our flour from Naples.
okay.
Our fermentation, which is why I was saying before we started the podcast, you know, I've got things I'm doing right now. I'm fermenting dough, and I take dough fermentation really seriously. Okay, so I change my fermentation time depending on how. Like right now, I'm in California, but there was frost on the ground today. So you have to, alter how much time you're letting your dough ferment. So I do a pre-ferment, and that's what gives us that. What I think more of like what we got in Italy when we went.
Yeah.
The dough is another thing that separates us for sure. The color or the flavor palettes is just we really have a lot of fun here with that. I mean,
That's
we
great.
make our own hot honey. I mean, there's a lot of different fun stuff that we do that sort of differentiates us and makes the day fun because we're always creating new stuff.
So is that
And
how
then, and on top of the really good dough, it's awesome.
is that how you keep your passion this so many years later?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I always tell people I can't get sick of either making or eating pizza. I just can't. I can't get tired of it. There's something about touching a really good dough ball, and unless you've gone through the progression like I have, it's satisfying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this pizza is going to be good. This dough ball is going to make a good pizza. But yes, I think the creativeness of of what we do in the kitchen, and we're constantly asking customers too, what do you think? We'll try something, and if it's good enough, we'll put it on the menu eventually. But I do think that that's a part of it. I think if you're just day in and day out making the same stuff, it can get a little, unless of course you have the crazy passion that I have, because I think I still would even if I wasn't doing this, but it's like a little more sugar on top, like just experimenting with different toppings. And it's not necessarily seeing someone else do it, it's just knowing how flavors come together and how to make an end product taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
So
that
that's
too.
part of it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You seem very passionate. I can see your passion coming through, even though I'm not in your pizzeria, but I can see it
Yeah.
the way you're talking about it and describing it, which means your staff probably does too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of staff, I'm super lucky. That's one of the challenging, getting back to what you said, the 31 years. There's been a real transition of staff, meaning as the years go on, the world has changed. I
Yeah.
mean, we have to be honest about that. And but I've consistently had good staff pretty much the whole time. It gets more challenging in today's world, but I've got what I call a bunch of badass females who are here and they rock this kitchen. I mean, they make me proud for sure.
That's great. Is it so?
Yeah.
How many people do you have working there?
It always fluctuates. Right now we're a little short-handed,
Yeah.
but I mean, God, it's gone from, oh God, I don't know what the peak has been. One of the things that I find really cool, and I think this is a a testament of Gianni's and maybe me included is every time we're shorthanded, someone from that used to work here might be in town and then spots and comes in and works for us. So it's like that is really cool. And that's currently happening because it's like a Christmas break.
Yeah.
So we've actually, one of our employees right now is actually in Italy
Oh, wow.
with his family. And then one of our other employees that used to work here that went away to college is now, working for his shifts. So it's like that kind of cool synergy that happens here. I'm very grateful for because I know that that's not everywhere, but I try to treat everybody so that way that it comes back
Yeah.
basically.
That's a good
Yeah.
sign.
So the staff is super important. Though I always tell people I can't do this without you guys. I can't do it without you. I can be all crazy in the back making these recipes and stuff and fermenting the dough perfectly, but I only work from the morning to the day. I don't work nights anymore. So I gotta, rely on the gals and they do it and they do a great job.
That's great. That's a good sign too for you. For you as a boss, so to speak, that people who are in town who used to work for you want to come back and work because
Yeah.
that doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm very grateful for that. I love that, and they're so good. It's like, it's like you don't have to train them. Just pop right in, work a couple shifts. It's great, and the customers love it too. We have really award-winning customers too. They really, when they get it, we always wonder when it's a new customer, are they going to get it? Are they going to pick up our vibe? And when they get it, you just know. And then when they come back, it's just the best. That's the other part of the sustainability. Those people, it's not just the staff, it's the customers who really keep you going because they really,
Yeah.
small business. I'm all about small business. So they fire you up too. When they get it, it's awesome.
What kind of so do you do? Is it a dine-in restaurant or is it more takeout delivery?
Yeah, we have dine-in. We have dine-in. Yes. It's small dining area, but
Yep.
it's super hip. We always playing good music. A lot of people appreciate since I used to be in bands and stuff. I play a lot of different stuff throughout the eras and stuff, and people absolutely love. A lot of people have been turned on to new music here, which is another like. Or I have movie posters up. I'm a big, Quentin Tarantino fan, Wes
Ah,
Anderson fan, Martin Scorsese fan. I have movie posters up. Brings up conversations about, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it's that too. It's that vibe too. It's that creative vibe that makes people feel comfortable. They're hearing good music. We're talking about movies. So we do have dine-in. We have some outdoor as well.
yep.
But a lot of takeout. A lot of people in and out.
Do you do delivery?
We don't do in-house delivery. We do the DoorDash thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they grab you their little percentage, but it keeps us in the kitchen and we don't have to leave. I found we used to do in-house delivery, and I found that it's best to stay in the kitchen. You get just distracted when you got to pull people out of the kitchen to take deliveries. And so even though DoorDash takes their percentage, we have enough people that come in and just do pickup and want to see us and want to see the place, that it's fine.
Yeah.
But we don't do in-house delivery anymore. No.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough to compete because the drivers could either work for DoorDash and they can work whenever they want, or they work with you. And like, it's the stressful part of being an owner that has delivery is because it's not, you don't know when there's going to be a lot of deliveries or not a lot of deliveries. So you have somebody
Yeah.
and they could do a ton and you get overwhelmed, or they could have nothing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. This really does even things out. We even have like on our website, our online ordering, if people want to do a delivery, they're just hooked up to DoorDash will take it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool thing. Again, there's always a price tag to it, but I feel like if you've got a customer base that's big enough, you don't really need to take deliveries, and we keep pushing for less DoorDash and more pickups and stuff, but it's a decent mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You use Slice for your online ordering. I think I saw that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are currently, yes.
And that's they use the DoorDash kind of, they route that through
Yes.
DoorDash, right? If someone wants a delivery through them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's a good system.
Yeah.
I like that system because it's like I was talking to somebody else too about the same kind of way. It's like it's almost like I don't want to say found money, but like if you just turn that on and you're like, all right, someone wants a delivery, okay, great, take a delivery. It's not like you're losing out on something.
And the other thing too, you got to look at it from a marketing perspective. I mean, yes, there's a cost to it, but they're actually emailing like a customer after 7 days or 30 days,
Yeah,
reminding them, hey, remember this, and we'll throw like a 20% discount on the next order. So I mean, you have to weigh and balance. To me, it's more. I'd rather, obviously, throughout this conversation, you've seen I'm passionate about the kitchen. I don't want to leave the kitchen. I don't even want to go, even when I'm talking to customers, I'm yelling from the kitchen,
yeah,
So it's, this kind of thing, this marketing that they do, I don't want to do that
yeah,
shit. I mean, I don't want to deal with it. So if it comes with a price tag, that's okay because it keeps me in the kitchen where I
yeah.
want to be.
I mean, even
Yeah.
some people who want to do it, when you own a restaurant and it's not like you kind of do the same thing every day, but there's a lot of different dynamic things that happen throughout the course of the day. And before you know it, half your day's over and you're like, oh man, I wanted to
Yeah.
do that, but I forgot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, so I mean, again, one of the things it's the cost of doing it, but I have found that obviously I've been here 31 years. It's not breaking the bank or something. It's just you got to allocate what you can to what you can, and hopefully it works. And in this case, it's definitely working well.
Yeah. That's something that you've had to adapt to too. Cause like 31 years ago, there was no text or email marketing or
Yeah.
websites or online ordering or anything like that.
Oh God, we were talking to some of the girls about how we used to take deliveries. They're like, "What? You don't have GPS?"
Yeah.
And like they can't imagine a world like the cruise that I had when we first opened versus now. It is ridiculously a different experience, but it's also very exciting for me to see the difference. And that brings back to I get to see people that worked here 25 years ago
Yeah.
come in and say hi. It's very very cool.
You probably get to see their
Very
kids
cool.
too, right? Like they have kids now and they're
Yeah.
coming in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We officially, this is cool. We've officially had two employees that I employed their dad, and now their kids work here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I can check that box. That's pretty cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know what? Going back to your delivery driver, I remember when I first started working in the pizza industry, I worked at this place and we did a lot of delivery and we had a computer system, but there was no GPS on it, right? Like what we
Yeah.
had was a big giant map on the wall. So like you had to like,
Yeah.
all right,
Same.
what was your address? You had to go like, all right, you map out your
Yeah.
track before you left and hopefully you didn't get
Yeah.
lost.
We had the big map,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Fun
how much,
stuff.
even me, who
I
I
always
use the
say
big map, I don't know if I could do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God. Oh no, we're all addicted to the GPS.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, no, I always say I could write a good book.
You probably should. You've been doing it for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've written screenplays, so I'm pretty sure I could write a book, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
Pizza is fun. It's not like you're sitting at a desk. I always tell my the people that I do business with, it's like, man, I want to be in the kitchen. This accounting, this other stuff, this marketing, whatever. I gotta delegate.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun to just I love being in the kitchen. And I love eating.
That's great. Well, yeah. So I was saying this to the other day, like people always lump pizza in with junk food, but I think like pizza like yours, where you're making a really good dough and you have good quality ingredients, it's not junk food. It's like, it could be good for you.
Okay, I am so glad that you brought this up because I'm gonna go on a quick little rant
Yeah, go
here.
for it.
Okay. When you do a pre-ferment in a dough, which they do in Italy, okay, or a biga, and I use the Carlsbad alkaline water here. I don't use the tap water. If I was in Italy, I would of course use it, or if I was in New York, I would. But we don't have good water here, so I use this local alkaline water.
Yep.
Okay. So when you do a pre-ferment and you do it and you ferment it properly, it's in a highly digestible dough. Okay. And you add on top of that, where you're not buying, subpar ingredients. You're actually sourcing. When I talk to my suppliers, I'm like, look, we're going to talk about price later, but the first thing we're going to talk about is quality,
I love that.
because you're not going to be sending me the shit. You're not going to be sending me. It's not sub. I don't want that. We'll negotiate the price later, but if you have the dough, you have the foundation of the. People will tell you you can eat a whole freaking pizza here
Yeah.
and not feel bloated, because the biggest problem with a lot of pizzerias is they're not properly fermenting the dough. So to get on a healthy thing, I do not consider pizza junk food one bit, and nor does Italy. The big problem with America, they're against pasta and pizza because it's not done
Yeah.
properly, and they may indulge over too much. But the reality is it's not a junk food, not the way we do it. If you have a good fermented dough and you've got good ingredients, you're basically eating a good meal.
Yeah.
You're eating a healthy, and that's up to you. You can get a lot of veggies, you can do whatever you want um to suit your diet, but the reality is this is not junk food. I'm glad you said that, and I absolutely agree.
I 100% agree with you. Like a place like yours definitely is not. Like people think of pizza, they think of like Domino's or Pizza Hut. That is shit. But like what
Yeah.
you're doing is nothing like that. And
No.
it's
No.
that's why
And
you go to
even if
independents. Like that's why I choose independent pizzas and not the chains, because Domino's isn't going to make the dough like you're making it.
Hey, look, when you get a dude who moved here from Rome like 3 months ago and comes in and eats here and says, "Hey, Gianni," because my name's Glen, but people call me Gianni because
Yeah.
my name, the pizza place is Gianni's. He's like, "You know what you're doing," and I'm like, "Hey, that's all I gotta hear." When somebody from the mother country comes in and says that, and then I'll sell him some of our flour so he saves money. He doesn't have to buy it online.
That's great.
He's gonna He's gonna bring in some bread that he makes. It's that kind of thing that basically really verifies to you that you're doing the right thing when somebody from Italy or even New York says that, because the passion that they're putting into it is the same.
Yeah, especially someone who comes from Italy, like they sell different flour over there than we use in the US, like for
Yeah,
the most part. So my wife's
yeah.
Greek, so same thing with in Greece. Like my wife's parents are from Greece. Like they immigrated here when they were teenagers, and they like, wow, you
Okay.
go back to Greece and the flour they use for pasta or bread is
Mhm.
100% different than what you could
Yeah,
normally buy in the US.
absolutely. Yes, yes.
So I'm glad you said that too, because I'm glad we're on the same page here. I love it. Um,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to take too much of your time up, but this was fascinating. I'm actually going to be in San Diego next week. I might try to stop by.
Okay. Okay.
Where in San Diego are you? Like you near the city?
Okay, so there's San Diego proper, and then there's North County. We're in North County. It's a town called Oceanside. It's actually, in the last 5 years, has gone exponentially up in terms of foodie
Yeah.
towns. So it's up and coming. It's up and coming. We've been here for a long time, but the town of Oceanside is definitely up and coming foodie place for sure.
And what's
So
your
it's
address for
North
people
County.
listening?
It's about 20 so miles north of proper San Diego.
Okay. What's your address? So if anybody's listening to this and they want to check you out or visit you, where should they go?
Okay, it's 3910 Vista Way in Oceanside. 92056, phone number 760-724-2670. We're right off the 78 by College and 78 on Vista Way.
Got it. And if they wanted to visit you on Instagram, what's your Instagram handle or your website?
It's I think it's just Gianni's Pizza. If you just search Gianni's Pizza or Gianni's O side, I'm sorry, I
Yes,
think
that's
it's
it.
Gianni's.
Gianni's _ O side. That's it. I just looked
Yes,
at it on
Gianni's
Instagram.
underscore O side. Yes.
We'll link that up in the show notes. So if you're listening to this, whether it's on YouTube or in the podcast form, just go to the
Oh,
description. We'll link your website, we'll link your Instagram, and put your information there so people can find you, because I think they should go check you out next time they're in San Diego. Plus, what's better, like
yeah.
San Diego weather with some nice pizza that doesn't make you feel horrible? That's amazing. I just want to say thank you for joining me on the podcast. Don't go anywhere yet, but I
Okay.
appreciate you joining me on the podcast.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Thanks to Glen for joining me on this episode of the How You Slice It podcast. If only we could all find a boss like Glen to take us to Italy twice. What an amazing experience that must have been for his team. But that's why he's built such a great team over there at Gianni's Pizza. If you're new to the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. Hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment where you're watching this from, and we will link up Gianni's information, his website, and his Instagram in the description below this video. Thank you so much. See you next week, everybody.